Why am I surrounded by all this craziness?
It's Valentine's. People get lonely, they start acting strange.
You're not acting strange.
Does love hurt, Tom? Would you agree with
Love sucks. No, that's not it. Yeah.
Love doesn't hurt from you anymore. Now you're a married man.
No, it definitely does for you, right?
The heart's completely ripped out.
What's love?
This is our guy.
Welcome back.
That's our guy.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's your two favorite horror boys. I am one of your hosts, Aran, aka the Horror Boy. I think is the only name I have. And who am I joined with again?
I am Tomcat, aka the Reptilian. You know me, or you should know me by now. And this is the only episode that I would encourage you to.
Are you touching yourself?
Interesting.
It is Valentine's Day. We, you got to get one with yourself. You know?
Do you?
Because when you're alone, what is your Valentine? What would be your Valentine?
What my penis. Do you celebrate Valentine's?
What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you.
Yes, I kind of have to.
So what's a typical?
Or my heart will get ripped out.
What's a typical Valentine's look like for Thomas?
Exactly this.
CVS has all the heartfelt gifts your long-term girlfriend wants. Like a small bear dressed like a bee, with hearts that say, "Be mine."
Oh, when did you get this?
1 minute ago.
That's pretty much it.
Do you guys get each other gifts on Valentine's?
Yeah, sometimes like chocolate and flowers or whatever. It's like the one time of the year that you like kind of have to do that,
So you're not going to get any cool like horror related presents or anything, no?
No, that doesn't happen anymore. It's just, to me, it's what most people think. It's definitely for like women and for making money for corporations, right? Like
Valentine's Day, talk about a bogus holiday.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's not like you even get it off, right? It's just the day that they market towards women getting flowers and chocolates.
Yeah, true, actually, which is like a load of shit, really. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about the 2001 slasher film Valentine.
And to kind of bring it in, do you want to have a couple of fun facts about Valentine's Day?
Sure, why not? Go for it.
So if you go back to our Valentine's Day special that me and Billy once did many moons ago, you will remember this. But if you haven't yet, it is very interesting because some trace Valentine's origins to a Christian effort to replace a pagan fertile festival, or fertility, not for same shit, fertility festival that had been dated back as far as the 6th century BC. During the festival of Lupercalia, Roman priests would sacrifice goats and dogs and use their blood-soaked hides to slap women on the streets, as it was a fertility blessing. According to legend, women would later put their names in an urn and be selected to be paired with a man for the year. That is where it came from. Me and Billy did talk about this, where they would literally slap women with blood-soaked hides. Very strange, indeed.
A little bit strange, but I guess it's no stranger than what we do nowadays anyway, when you think about it,
Yeah.
When I first became vice president, it was Valentine's Day, and the night before, Jill got the maintenance people to bring a 16-foot ladder in.
Do you know why they probably brought the ladder in?
No.
So she could hang herself.
Oh, nice.
So she could become a corpse just like him.
You've been waiting the last 20 minutes to say that, haven't you?
Yeah, I know. As soon as I heard that, I was like, what could I make a joke about that? There's a lot of weird stuff, but you can definitely go back and listen to the episode that me and Billy did. But even the chocolates, Valentine's Day tradition of giving a box of candy was started in the 19th century by Richard Cadbury. Of the British chocolate manufacturing company, with a new technique recently established at the company to create more varieties of chocolate. Cadbury pounced on the opportunity to sell chocolate as part of the beloved holiday. And it comes with Christmas is the same way. In a lot of holidays, it is a marketing scam for companies. It happens all the time. We're like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, it's because this was marketed towards people. Like the idea of Santa Claus with the red and white came from Coca-Cola. You know, so
wait a second,
quite bizarre.
You mean that Santa Claus is not real?
I thought you were gonna call him a pedo because that's probably what more likely he is.
Of course, that just shows your mind is so in the gutter. It's unbelievable.
Do you know that? There's obviously the origins to magic mushrooms that me and Billy talked about. But did you know that Santa Claus, the Saint Nicholas, resurrected the bodies of dead children from like a pickle barrel?
I didn't. I thought you were going to say something really out there, like, "Oh, did you know that Santa is actually a mushroom?"
Well, that could be. It looks like the Amanita muscaria. Go listen to our episode on it for our Christmas special.
Actually,
but this is Valentine's Day.
I feel like we've had this conversation before, probably. But is it pedo or is it pedo?
It would be pedophile over here, but then over there it's pedo.
So like, yeah,
you know.
So like we say pedo and pedophile, which is like sounds really retarded now, but
it does sound.
So you'd call it a pedophile.
Yeah,
so
pedophilia.
So if you were to shorten that, then would you call it like pedo?
Yeah,
weird.
A pedophile,
so
pedo. Is that the slang is so different? And considering some of the guys in this film, they're definitely creeps.
I am
like
all the creeps. To be fair.
Well, I know it is a Valentine's Day movie, but they definitely add that creep aspect of having some of the guys be like super creepy. Like, isn't that one dude that speaks in first person?
Oh,
Gary?
Yeah, he's the best.
Not Gary, that's the other guy. Jason, creepy Jason. Jason likes your dress.
It's the dude up in the top left corner, right?
Yeah, it's so creepy.
I actually purposely went looking for like an image of him just so I could bring him up on screen.
Yeah, that we're getting carried away already. So let's dive into the movie.
I'm also not sure. People may or may not notice quality of audio change or whatever. I can hear some sort of feedback buzz. So if anybody's wondering if it does come out in the finished product, it is from my side and it's not Tom.
Don't worry, I will edit it like I do everything for you.
Tom is like my what would you say, like later in life, what is it, like a carer
guy in the chair?
Fucking like my minder. Tom is like the guy that comes in and changes my diaper 3 times a day.
I'm like Albert, but my last name is Fish.
Okay,
is that the guy, right? Batman, are we right? Is that right? His name is Albert? No, it's not, is it? Alfred. Alfred, yeah.
Okay, so Valentine is a 2001 slasher film directed by Jamie Blanks and stars Denise Richards. How do you say that fucking angel dude's name? David? David?
Let's look up the cast.
Yeah, and you know,
it's funny because I wrote down because I do enjoy this movie, and I actually totally forgot that he was in it. And I watched this like a couple years ago. It wasn't like too long ago, and I definitely forgot that he was in it. And I was like, no way, it's Angel from Buffy, because that's mostly what I know him from.
I think that's what everybody knows him from, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
While you're looking that up to see, can you get the pronunciation of his surname? It also stars
Denise
Shelton,
Richards, man.
Jessica Capshaw, Katherine Heigl, which I fucking hate. I would love to stab her to death. I would love to have been given that. I hate her so much, and I've heard nothing but negative things about her. Like as a person, she's
David Boreanaz. Boreanaz.
And I wouldn't mind, right? This is the worst part about this is I listened to several interviews earlier today to get the pronunciation of his name, and I've forgotten it already.
Boreanaz. Whatever.
Yeah, and it's
really
something we're
Heigl,
overcomplicating.
right?
It's something really stupid. No, I despise her.
I just write, oh shit, it's the chick from Knocked Up.
Well, and that's all everyone knows her for. And it's so apparently word on the street is like behind the scenes, she is like an absolute shitbag and a nightmare to work with. Like really holds herself in like high regard.
Really?
Very strange.
I think I actually have heard of that. There are some pretty decent names in this, especially for like early 2000s of people that were popular. I put, oh look, it's the chick from from Wild Things.
Yeah, and also isn't Marley Shelton? Doesn't she play Deputy Judy in Scream 4 and 5 or whatever?
I also wrote that down.
So yeah, there is some decent names here. It's loosely based on a novel of the same title by an author called Tom Savage. The film follows a group of women in San Francisco who are stalked by a killer wearing a Cupid mask in the days leading up to Valentine's Day.
It's I did write that the mask is kind of unsettling. Like it's unique for what it is when it comes to a slasher killer. Like I've seen worse, but it depends because even if you look at Thanksgiving, it's kind of like just a simple design, but there is something unnerving about it. Like I wasn't a huge fan of the Happy Death Day mask. I thought it was kind of goofy. And this one's kind of similar. It's like a baby face, right? But I actually do think this one, because of like just they can't really see the eyes, and it's just like this. It's kind of just weird and unnerving, you know.
I've bought this mask on 2 separate occasions, custom versions of it.
Where is it?
Yeah, right. So this is the funny part. I think I've told this story before as well. And there's another movie that I absolutely love that's like not that highly regarded, but I love it, called The Collector. So there's a guy out there. I can't even slate him anymore because Creation X, I think, is his name on Instagram.
Oh, is this the guy that he
so
he stole
2
money
separate
from you?
occasions. Yeah, 2 separate occasions. I gave him like $600 to make me 2 custom masks, and on 2 separate occasions he left me for like 18 months and then just went, "Oh, do you just want to like take your money back or something? Because like I'm never gonna get to it, so just like whatever." And I'm like, "You scumbag."
Why would you even try to put out a product then?
I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I don't know whether it's because he realized that I was in Ireland or something, and he was like, yeah, I'm just not interested in this anymore. But like, yeah, he left me for a year and a half while taking my money, so fuck him, scumbag. Yeah, I really like the mask in this. Like, it's in one sense, I guess the attire is quite generic and something similar to Thanksgiving. It is just kind of like a black coat with like black pants and black boots.
Yeah.
Which is generic, but I mean, for a slasher movie, there's not much more you can really expect for the most part. Like, they're not too inventive.
This seems like I wrote down, like, this is a ripoff of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a ripoff of Scream, specifically to like the cards, him leaving cards, Valentine's Day cards. Like, it is an easy premise. They're like, hey, you know, it's early 2000s, you know, we got to get that hot new slasher film out, you know, get the audiences in their seats. So, you know, but what can we do? And then someone pitches this of like essentially doing like a movie that's kind of like Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer. Really like a very similar premise of who done it, who is the killer. And then they're leaving you little notes and stuff to intrigue you, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is the whole time. It is definitely reminiscent. But this is also one that I qualify up there with those early 2000s whodunit slasher type films. Like, there's only some, and then some try to repeat it, and they were awful.
Yeah, like I really like this one as a fan of slasher movies. I think you have to. It's very hard to judge, I think, a slasher movie in the same realm as you would other genres or other subgenres, because at the end of the day, a lot of it is just kind of brain dead fun for the most part.
100%.
So yeah, this one released theatrically actually, which is kind of surprising. 2 weeks before Valentine's, on February 2nd. The film was critically...
Is that smart or not smart?
Yeah, I don't know, because I was like, kind of clever, but maybe not. The film was critically panned, with critics deeming it to be too similar to 1980s slasher films. The film earned $36.7 million on a $29 million budget, making it a box office disappointment. Now, I will say the $29 million budget includes... Yeah. This is the part I think that's unfair to anybody who like worked on this movie. The movie was made for less than $10 million. And then they spent $19 million.
Actresses.
They spent $19 million. Like on promotional stuff. So
I thought they spent a lot maybe on the actresses.
No, that's the thing. So the budget would include like whatever wages and salaries were included. So technically speaking, it was successful if they hadn't have wasted nearly 20 million on marketing and advertisement. This was, I think, the only movie in history sub $10 million budget to have a Super Bowl spot, which is probably where they spent, because isn't a Super Bowl spot like 5 to 9 million?
It's very expensive, which is crazy that they want to push it that much. And I do remember this being marketed a lot, right? Like I remember seeing the commercials for it. It did like kind of draw my friends in because we were like preteens, right? This is a movie like we've talked about before. You'd want to get the popcorn and bring like the girlfriend or whatever, the chick you were interested in. Because especially at that time, even if you were, because like, I don't know, to me, I'm surprised this is rated R. I definitely watched this and rented it when it came out on DVD. But I did put down that like the kills kind of went PG-13.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is there titties in here? And like Chelsea was watching with me and she was like, I saw tits. And I was like, I didn't see any titties. So I'm like, is that what turned it to R? Because technically like a lot of the kills I saw, some of them are great, but then there's some that are like lazy. Like the axe in the back to the one guy, Campbell, I think is the one who got the axe to the back. I just find some of it was a little lazy. And then not enough blood and gore. So I'm like, what got it the R?
So the original version of the movie, was a lot more violent apparently. So according to multiple sources, a lot of the violent scenes had been trimmed down significantly. This was not necessarily done to satisfy the MPAA, but more so Warner Brothers, who thought that due to political climates at the time, especially after the Columbine shootings, that the amount of violence in the original version would not be tolerable by the general public. So apparently that's where it all came from.
Well, I just looked up, it's like lots of sexual innuendos and several kisses, some passionate, is what made it R. That makes no sense. This could easily have been a PG-4 or PG-13. I would say 14A. I don't understand how it's rated R, not even 18A, it's rated R. And there's nothing in the movie that should ever have made it that rating. It doesn't make sense.
Do you think that some of that as well fed into the fact that like Columbine and stuff, so they were being like overly like protective? So if there was anything in it at all, a guy is shown with a knife at one point and he's like buttering a piece of toast. So we have to make
That's not what influences kids. They didn't kill those kids because of Marilyn Manson. They killed them because they were CIA operatives.
So
hot cuts. Just kidding, everybody. Or am I?
No, you're not. So some of the scenes trimmed or cut out included a scene where Dorothy is attacked by the killer and dressed up as the killer. That was actually a thing that was going to be included in the script that was cut afterwards.
That she was, because she turned out to be the killer, quotations.
Yes,
maybe, or
but you would have seen,
you
would have seen that happen, how that she got to that point.
Just like in Scream.
For some reason, they cut that out. Shelley's death was trimmed heavily. Originally, her neck splits open and like all blood and like veins and shit come out.
That would have got it an R rating.
Ruthie's death showed blood flowing out into the shape of a heart. It's a bit generic, a bit ridiculous. Like, but,
clever. Oh, come on. I would have liked that.
Kate's neighbor Gary gets hit by the iron 11 times, and apparently they focus it a lot on like how much he's been bludgeoned, and that was cut down to only 2 times shown in the final cut.
Kate, it's our fate to be together. Gary, you're scary.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I wrote that down. Like after saying that guy, how many creepy guys are actually in this kind of film, like those weird like stalker type, and it's making you want to question obviously who is the killer. But that guy, that guy did nothing. I wrote down when he's getting hit with the iron and stuff like that, he's just like, yo man, don't do this, don't. And then all of a sudden the guy just whacks him and he does nothing to protect himself or even try to fight back against the killer. And realistically, right, if it really was a chick hiding behind there, oh buddy, she'd be thrown against the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
I would drop kick her.
I would beat it.
But realistically, she's attacking men that are much stronger. But the question is, right? The question is was it actually Angel, that guy? You know, I'm just gonna call him that because that's who he is to me. Because at the end, his like nose is bleeding and stuff, right? So the idea is, were they working together? After I wrote down that they carried him, dude. They carried him but as a man. So they like threw a punch on him, and then the beginning scene was very much like what it was kind of in Carrie, that the little nerd boy, and then they except for this time they don't pour pig's blood on the kid or the victim. They beat the living shit out of him, right?
Yeah, like, and a lot of people were critical of that, being like, oh, it was like a Carrie ripoff, whatever. Like, I mean, look, at the end of the day, everything could technically be a ripoff of everything at this point, and like
that's what Hollywood does.
And it's like you said now a few minutes ago. I mean, we're at the stage now in 2024 where it's a ripoff of a ripoff of a ripoff of a ripoff of something else that they've got inspiration from it. So like it'd be very hard, I think, to distinguish. I did actually, just to tie in on that, I did write down. The movie offers all female leads and kind of flips the slasher convention on its head in ways, with all the males coming across as dumb, smarmy, and selfish assholes compared to normally having the chicks as the dumb character.
That's actually kind of true. They kind of did that. That's why every guy is creepy, like that weird art dude that it's like this weird art expose. Love me. Love me.
Ah, that's so
Love
weird.
Me. I know. I would not. I would be uncomfortable. Imagine going through that shit on acid or mushrooms, man.
My
it would be
badass,
some of the weirdest shit. That's actually sick. I would say The Mask is creepy. There is a couple of good scenes and kill scenes that even though I harped on it a bit, I can definitely tell that they were cutting out some of the gore. Love hurts. Love hurts. Is it that the song or is it Love Sucks? Isn't it Love Sucks? Yeah, from Wedding Singer.
Do you want to hear some of the taglines? There is a lot for this one.
Sure, because they try to market.
There's so many for this one. So
money.
Love Hurts is the first one.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? No, don't. Really
it's too generic.
Remember the kid everyone ignored on Valentine's Day? He remembers you.
Kind of like it a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that being me. I remember being like 12 and getting rejected by a girl and being like, "You bitch, I'll kill your whole family."
Did you do the "I will choose you"?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Something leads me to believe you've done that.
Simpsons episode. No, I did not. I'm not Ralph.
You were running around like fucking Big Wolf on campus.
Yeah, got crayons shoved in my ass.
Falling in love has never hurt so bad.
That's not actually that bad.
This February, hearts don't just break, they get even.
No.
Boo. Scared to be alone on Valentine's Day? Well, you should be. Fall in love with terror this weekend. Revenge is sweet. Somebody's going to give them a Valentine's Day to die for.
Some of these are very predictable.
1, 2, 3. Are you ready to die? I don't know what that is. Literally nothing.
That's just so dumb.
This Valentine's Day is going to be killer.
No.
A Valentine's Day like no other. Be my Valentine or else.
I kind of actually like that one a little bit. Be my Valentine's or else. I'm going to cut out your heart.
Revenge is sweeter than candy.
You know who has always been there for me?
Who's that?
My best friend, Candy.
Roses are red and so is blood. Candy is sweet and so is revenge.
Oh, that's an awful poem. They could have thought of way better poem, man.
And like it doesn't even rhyme or anything. It's just terrible.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If you don't reject me, I'm going to stab you.
There you go. Tom just made up one on the spot, everybody. Don't get mad, get even. Terrible.
That's been used in so many other slasher films, though.
Meet the devil on February 2nd. Where?
No, because he's not the devil.
He's not the devil. He's a little fucking Cupid dude. He's the dude that wears the diapers. But there's my pitch. They should remake it, and he should be in a diaper. With that mask.
One of his superpowers is he reaches into his diaper and he throws shit at you like a monkey.
That's all I have there.
That's a superpower. That's so funny. I did like some of the stuff is like, I don't know. I do enjoy this film for what it is. I do wish there was more gore, and but I did write down the arrow scene where he comes at her and she's in the love me, like in that weird abstract
really like
art
that,
double
that
date
scene.
or blind date. Yeah, but when he like firing that first arrow, they used sound effects properly. I don't know. I wrote down that was a good kill scene. I did enjoy it because you can just hear the fling and how it like sticks into her chest, and then conveniently there is a garbage at the bottom of the stairs. Conveniently, did he put it there? We'll never know.
I actually put something down about that. Let me see in my notes here. What did I say? Yeah, I had the film is also shot extremely well and has some great set pieces considering its overall critical review. The murder scene in the morgue is incredibly tense and original. The scene in the video art gallery was also very inventive and was shot and played out extremely well. Like, I enjoy this movie for what it is, and I think it's definitely better than it has any right to be, because I think it knows what it is. I don't think at any point it was trying to be like some highbrow movie. Different.
No, and it is like I enjoy it for what it is, and it is a movie that I do remember watching as like a preteen, something that you're hanging out with your friends or something like that. You want to throw on a horror movie around Valentine's Day. And there's some alright kill scenes. Like there's some more clever kill scenes. Even in the hot tub is pretty decent, because essentially like you'd be like fighting for your life, scared to death. But I wanted more from the kill scenes. And it's sad they cut them, and I wish we got the uncut version, because there should be more gore. Like there was the opportunity to do so and push the envelope like Scream did when what's her name's guts were hanging out from the tree, or when help that guy in the chair, when his guts fall out. Like more doing stuff like that. I don't know. Like if you're gonna make it R, dude, there is some like R-rated movies that have the most blood and gore and guts, even if they're like an historical movie. I don't know, like some of the war movies. Why are you rating this R if you're not even going to display? Like, there's no nudity that I could have told. Really, there's no like as blood and guts as much as there should be. Like even that scene when she's in the hot tub, he's just drilling. She cuts her finger, and then it doesn't show her really dying. It just shows her lying there in the blood filled tub. And I'm like, that's PG-13, bro.
I'm pretty sure that all of that stuff had been filmed like way more violent and gory. So it wasn't a case of like they didn't actually even do it. It had been done and was trimmed out afterwards, which I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen some sort of like cut where all that's added in.
Yeah, because that would have been, I would like to have seen it. Like I even thought like the detective did a good job at kind of being that, like that guy did a good job at acting, like of just kind of being like a dickhead kind of detective dude. A lot of the cast I think does well. Yeah, that guy. I think he did a good job. Like I did write that down, that I enjoyed his character, and most of the actresses are decent. Denise Richards, we all know why she's in the movie, or most of these women maybe. They're and like, maybe not their acting skills completely, but
I will say as well, normally like in a film like this, you would the whole idea is to build a connection, I guess. So what I had written in my notes was while in many of these movies we definitely need some sort of emotional attachment to the main characters so that we eventually feel something when they're killed off. In this film, nobody is really that likable, but somehow it plays out perfectly into the style of movie and just wanting to see the killer pick them off.
Yeah, I kind of agree that's it kind of builds it up in that way that I don't know, I didn't resonate with any of the characters. Maybe some of the females would that end up watching this or have watched this and really enjoyed this. But really at the end of the day, they don't really make one character. They realistically, most of them, other than Katherine Heigl, which she does at the beginning, doing the Drew Barrymore, most of them get just enough screen time as the other one. So you don't really, it's not like like Scream where you're like hooked on Sydney, where she is the main character and the main focus. They didn't really do that much. But I thought the acting is pretty decent. It all is up to that. It can be a lot worse. If like Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. I don't know. I thought it could have been a lot better if the acting was better. Even like whatever, it's not Robert Englund, but that's one movie where I was like, okay, I still enjoy this. There's some cool effects that they put into it, but the acting is the thing that gets me where I'm like, this is not that good. Like, why don't you guys use a better cast of people instead of spending all the budget on some shitty CGI?
Yeah, for sure. I found this quite interesting. And I'm pulling this straight from online. I didn't like reword it or anything because I wasn't actually going to read it out. But the more I think about it now, I think it's kind of interesting. And it shows like maybe a little bit deeper of a level of thought about some of this.
Yeah.
So, when Jeremy asks the girls at the dance at the opening of the movie, each of them give him a mean comment right after he asks them. So, and then afterwards, when you watch the movie, it kind of foreshadows all the deaths. So, like Shelley, for example, says, "In your dreams, loser." And then she ends up lying down while in a sleeping position. Lily says, "Ew." And then she gets maggots in a box of chocolates and her body ends up landing in a dumpster, which could be seen as like something that's like, ew, disgusting. Paige, "I would rather be boiled alive," gets thrown into a hot tub and is later electrocuted.
Interesting.
Dorothy says, obviously, "He attacked me." And then he makes everyone believe that she was attacked by Jeremy after being caught kissing behind the bleachers. So then Jeremy, or Adam, or whatever you want to call him, he makes everyone believe that all the killings were her fault. Kate says,
weird.
"Maybe later, Jeremy." So he lets Kate live since she is the only girl that did not insult him and wasn't mean to him.
Interesting. Yeah, because that is weird. And I wonder, like at the end of the film, I was like, did he put her in that costume, or did he convince her to maybe do it at the party, right? To like do this at the party where he was always doing it. He was already doing it prior, and then just to get her in the costume so he could like attack her. And then it's kind of creepy because she probably thinks that that's his like tears, but it's his bloody nose. You know, it is kind of creepy. And even like, I don't know, I was looking at the reviews and, you know, it's like 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is not that well received with critics, but it is a 63% on like Google reviews. And there's like, this guy said that he actually really enjoyed it, and it's one of his favorite costumes when it comes to a slasher killer. Obviously, there's flaws and there's potholes, but the killing lacks a lot of gore, which I said. But there's a lot of people that really did enjoy this movie, and I believe it did have somewhat of a cult following because there's a lot of good reviews. Even people are just giving it 3, 4 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. Like, people enjoyed it for what it was and what it was meant to be. But I agree that the gore thing is the thing that slasher films need, especially for like real fans.
Sure. This is definitely one of my comfort movies. I watch this at least once a year, always have done. It's just one of those movies. I don't know if it's because I grew up seeing it. But yeah, I would say the same. I also, this time around looking at it, I was like, there's a lot more like aspects to this film, I think, than it gets credit for. Like that idea of like the dorky kid getting picked on at school. And I was thinking, I was like...
That's why they related to Columbine, right? Because those kids got picked on.
Yeah,
that's probably why at the time, you know...
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks that those things foreshadow, obviously, our society. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's just kind of weird because you don't... War is a horrible thing, right? At the end of the day. So is like, I don't know, killing in general.
So do we just
and
never make war movies ever again?
I know. I don't know. I don't understand that.
Like,
especially
like saying,
there's a lot of movies that fell victim to that.
You can't make Call of Duty
like
ever
Columbine.
again. Or you can't make Fortnite because a kid might fucking jump off the side of a building with a shotgun.
But the majority of them don't. So it's like
yeah,
who's raising them?
But yeah, I just had like, I was like, the idea of a dorky kid getting picked on at school is probably something that we can all relate to in a sense, either being that kid at some point or doing that to a kid. And
when I was in grade 4, these kids called me sausage fingers. And then like, I don't know why, but I wore a Superman cape to school once. I'll never forget this. And the guy's like, look at this fucking kid, Superman. Yeah, I was like in grade 2, and these like kids that are in grade 6 are just making fun of me for wearing a Superman costume. I remember specifically this older kid in grade 8, and I was like grade 4, and he's like sausage fingers. And I'm like, how do you feel, man, making fun of a little kid? And then when I was in grade 8, we did a whole bunch of horrible stuff, not to anyone younger, but to fellow kids in our school. Right? We circled them, and then we kicked them and called them gay. It was a great time.
Yep. And I feel like everyone has probably been in both sides of it, to be honest.
Most people, I think, would.
Yeah, and then I started to think more and more. I was like, okay, so is the idea that like he got sent away to that reform school, like did those events cause him to be sent away to that school, or did everyone stay away from him and make fun of him because he was already a fucking weirdo and a creep? And I was
and that's why they doesn't explain it as much. That I wonder if they were. Do you know if they were ever thinking about doing a second one? Because you could explain more of like where he was in the meantime and what he was doing. Where did he get the mask? Like I know it was from the school dance, but his mask is a little more elaborate.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to have that mask.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked that this didn't spawn like a franchise, for better or for worse.
I know.
I'm actually
For
really
worse, yeah.
shocked. You know, and
They did it with Wrong Turn. I've been watching those for you, and the first one's good, and then they go drastically downhill.
They get
I've
worse
only
and
watched,
worse.
and we're going to be talking about that. I almost feel like we could probably do a deep dive in all 6 of them within 2 hours.
Probably because they go
Some of them
downhill
are-
very quick.
I mean, the second one was interesting, but like even that, the fact that those movies got that many sequels is like bizarre, even to me. Where this one didn't even get one, didn't get like a second one. You know what I mean?
I definitely have and I would love to think that like, you know, I could put that out into like the ether or whatever, and someday in like 5 or 10 years I'll be like giving interviews being like, yeah, I just had this idea and whatever. I would love to reboot this movie for like this era and like update the whole thing, because I still feel like that, you know, obviously when Thanksgiving came out, Eli Roth was like, well, it was such a good thing to jump on because there is no other like really Thanksgiving related horror movies. You know, we have Valentine's, we have the summer ones, we have winter, we have this, we have that. I'm like, you know what though? I don't really think anyone has cracked the code that well on Valentine's horror. You've got My Bloody Valentine and you've got this.
Yeah.
A lot of people would argue like, you know, this is not so great. So I'm like, okay, so if we were to like bring this story into the modern era, I think you could do it really clever, and it could be fun like Thanksgiving was.
Yeah, I actually do agree. Yeah, there's technically only 2 because I look at a Valentine Day like horror films, and really there's only those 2. And I feel like there's a way to do it that shows maybe the psychoticness of like what this holiday can like drive people to do, or like what love can drive people to do. Because love can drive people to do crazy things. But you know what?
Makes a perfect Valentine's gift for the ladies.
You know what the perfect Valentine's Day gift is?
Oh, what? Stiff one?
Penis?
Nice.
My penis?
Nice. But yeah, I really do feel like that there's probably a really clever way of bringing this back around.
Yeah.
There you have it, young love, full of promise, full of hope, ignorant of reality.
It's true, because you could have a thing about like young love. Everyone has been through heartbreak. Everyone's been through that where you're like, at least most people, especially when you're a teenager, where like it's weird. You date a chick for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a guy you date him for a couple weeks, a month or 2, and then they break up with you, and then you feel like your life has been shattered into a million pieces, and you're crying on your couch outside smoking cigarettes, listening to him. You know,
you're not talking from personal experience at all, then, no.
No. Listen to him ask sad songs. I'm like, oh, I was like 16, just like,
yeah, I remember being like that.
Poison.
And being like, you know, I'd be like, I'm gonna cut the heartogram into my arm.
I know. It's the funeral of hearts.
Such a fucking nerd. Like, okay, let's get into some like random trivia. The maggots in the candy scene was inspired by a childhood incident involving Don Coscarelli, who is the creator of Phantasm.
Oh, we should definitely cover those at some point. I have the DVD set now.
He saw that he saw his, apparently when he was a kid, he saw his dad eating a candy bar, and then all of a sudden his dad started spitting it out all over the floor, and apparently there was ants, like all inside the packaging.
Weird. There's like a hole in it, and they obviously got inside.
Katherine Heigl has disowned this film, claiming she hates it and that she didn't read the full script before accepting the role and wants nothing to do with it any further. Yeah, that's also bullshit because, and I'll tell you why, Katherine Heigl, if somehow you ever hear this, you cow. You also you also said some awful things about your time on Grey's Anatomy. You also starred in Roswell. You talk shit about Roswell. So
anything that got a career kind of even started.
Fuck you.
She's talking shit about it.
Fuck you.
These give you opportunity to even become famous, to do movies like Knocked Up, where most people know her from, which I'm sure she shit on that in some way at some point. But the thing is, these movies gave you your career. Without them, you wouldn't have a career. This is why I have a problem with people that even like Jennifer Aniston. You know how many people love Leprechaun, and you shit on that movie? What? Because you drink blood? You know, is that it? Because you've been sold out to the Illuminati?
I don't like her either.
Yeah. She used to be my crush until she started pushing some...
Same. I remember
people eating bugs and shit.
Being younger and like she'd be on Friends and she'd always have those hard nipples out. Yeah, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, man.
Look at that.
Wow, amazing. Did you know that Richard Kelly was also offered to direct this movie and turned it down?
Who's that? So
he turned it down because he wanted to direct a movie which he wrote, kind of, I guess, a well-known movie called Donnie Darko.
I actually love that movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie we should dive into at some point. It was one of my friends growing up's favorite movie, and I've definitely seen it a bunch of times. But it is definitely worth discussing, and I'm glad that he chose to do that because that movie is, in my opinion, pretty phenomenal.
Kind of crazy to think that if he hadn't have done that, like we could have got a completely different movie.
I wonder what this would have been like if he'd been able to pull off both. This might have been a lot different and maybe better, to be honest, because the way he structured Donnie Darko was from a psychological standpoint, and I think it was pretty good.
Director Jamie Blanks had wanted cinematographer Rick Bota for Urban Legend in 1998, but the timing didn't work out, so he asked the studio to have him again on this film. The studio told him that Rick had actually been pitching to direct the film and take his spot, but Blanks had a conversation with him and convinced him to shoot the film with him instead of directing. He eventually went on to make his directorial debut with Hellraiser Hellseeker in 2002.
Man, I can't. I've tried to watch after number 3. Like I've tried to watch 4 and 5. I can't, man. Like that. I tried to watch that one where he like goes back in time. And it just jumps all around the place. And maybe that's, I think that's, is that not Hellseeker, the one where he goes back in time? It's like the Victorian age or whatever.
It could be. I don't remember, to be totally honest.
Some of them are so bad. Even though with Fat Hellraiser, I was like, I should try to watch this. Never did.
You know what? I kind of, in one way, I feel bad for Jamie Blanks because I feel like he was quite young at the time. And obviously he had done Urban Legend. So I don't know if you know much about his story, but basically what he had done, he's an Australian guy. And he was trying to get noticed in the States or whatever, and you know, obviously it's a pretty I guess a faraway place from Hollywood, and especially in the fucking the mid 90s it was probably even harder to like, because the internet wasn't such a thing and shit like that. So he heard that they were going to make a I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think, and he used his own money and he shot like this teaser trailer thing, which is actually online. You can see it on YouTube and stuff. It's actually done quite well. And he used that basically as his pitch to direct the feature. And I think he was like up there for that. And the whole thing fell apart, and whatever happened with it, he didn't get the job. So then he got Urban Legend. And he kind of tried to treat that as like his I Know What You Did Last Summer. And
it is good. We did a commentary on it. Like I enjoy it for what it was, but again, another film where if you go back to it too much, you start to like find a bunch of holes in it. And I was like, oh man, I remember liking this way more when I was a 14-year-old.
Yeah, kid. For sure. And like I feel like then, from there, it was like he does Valentine, and I don't know, I feel like maybe he was always put in a position where he felt like he kind of had to relinquish to whatever he was told for fear that he may never get another job.
Yeah, and that could be it too, right? At the end of the day, because like, I don't know, there's definitely missing holes in this film, and then to have a vision of something and then have it kind of torn away by society's sensitivity. Like at the end of the day, because don't have gore, it's going to make kids kill their classmates, even though they shouldn't be watching it because they shouldn't be there because they're not old enough or whatever, right? But
yeah, I just feel like it's probably a case of, because Jamie Blanks, if anyone like knows any of his other work and have ever seen him in interviews or anything, he's very well spoken. Like, he knows his shit about film. He's a huge like fan of film and literature and stuff like that. So it's not like it's lost on him what these things are, what they're supposed to be. But I don't know, it always strikes me anytime I hear him speak about any of it that like I feel like a lot of the bad decisions made were probably made by producers or like non-creative people, and it was probably a case of like, how about this, okay, how about you shut up and let us do what we want, or you'll never get a job again.
Yeah, 100%. Stare into my spread asshole. Brett Weinstein. No, that's the other one.
But that's essentially, look, they're all the same at this stage.
Brett Weinstein's the guy that's totally a different guy. But they're all the same, where it's just like producers control, like, especially, this was put through Universal or Warner Brothers?
This was Warner Brothers. And at one point, actually, it went to, let me get it here. So it was originally, I think, with Warner Brothers.
Surprised Miramax didn't try this.
So while Warner Brothers had acquired the rights to the Tom Savage novel in May 1998, the project was later transferred to Artisan Entertainment, who done Blair Witch, with producer Dylan Sellers and writers Wayne and Donna Powers. The original script had a different tone from the book and was set on a college campus. The project then went into turnaround back to Warner Brothers and was rewritten by Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harberts, with Wayne Powers stepping down to allow for a new director to be hired.
Interesting. I wonder if I actually am curious what the book is like. But as we said before, as I was trying to make that joke, is that producers usually insert themselves too much because, like, oh, we're backing it, it's our money, and then they're like, you need to do this or that so we can sell better. And then I feel like a lot of times they end up losing money because of the producers' inputs.
It's funny, right? Because I'm like, when producers are like that, it's like, why don't you just make the money yourself, or why don't you just make the movie yourself? Then don't hire anybody.
No, you
if it's that easy, if it's that easy, just you write the whole screenplay, and you block out all the shots, you do all the cinematography, you do everything, you do the lighting, you do everything, and then 100%. See how quickly that movie doesn't ever come to fruition.
But it's funny because this movie is very reminiscent of slasher films in general, is a sense why I do like it, because it plays on, harps back to, the origins of slasher films in the 80s, where you have the chick at the end running around discovering all the dead bodies. Oh my God, in this room, this person's dead. Scream. And then she runs to the next room. And then, oh my God, Janet's dead, or whoever the fucking character is. Scream, and then run around. And then, you have the ominous boyfriend that comes in and he's acting all weird all of a sudden, very ominously. And then it puts that idea in your head that, oh, it's the boyfriend. It's just like Scream. And then at the end of the day, he saves the day, but he's really not saving the day.
There was a big criticism, I think, among people as well, that Jeremy was seeking revenge against the girls who rejected him, rather than the guys who were bullying the fuck out of him, stripping him and beating the shit out of him.
That does actually.
Apparently, in earlier versions of the movie, it was revealed that the female leads, there's a whole scene apparently where they were doing, remember in the 90s and early 2000s, this was a thing, you would go to the library and do research, and they researched Jeremy Melton's fucking backstory or whatever, one of those scenes where these fucking newspaper articles and shit are coming up.
Oh yeah. And just like in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah. Basically, it's that kind of thing, and apparently in earlier versions of the movie, it was revealed that there was a whole scene that the female leads done research, and they found out that the leader of that
sexist.
group, the leader of the group of bullies or whatever, had gone missing under mysterious circumstances, and some of the others had died.
Oh, that would have been better to relate it back.
Yeah, and it was like this was to allow the audience to see that the fact that his plot was well underway before the opening scenes of the movie. But sure, again,
and it would make sense. And then you could have made a number 2 and have him go after the bullies, go back into his backstory. Yeah, it's definitely like plot holes is something that I didn't notice about this film. But I will like, I'm curious of what your rating is, what you think.
I'm got like, for me, I'm gonna go pretty high, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this just because it's a Valentine's movie, I'm gonna give it a 6.9.
No, it's so weird. I need to get that sound effect so it's like best friends, because I was gonna give it a 6.8, man.
Oh wow! The other reason I picked
weird?
6.9 was like 69.
Oh, that's funny. I was literally thinking like, okay, I don't want to just go 6. I want to go like a little higher than 6.5 because it's a movie, and I always relate it back to like how many times do I watch this movie? You know, I've watched this movie a bunch. I do enjoy it. I will go back to it at some point. But that's even like movies. Like we just finished the Scorsese movie, The Killers of the Flower Moon. We watched it in 2 parts. It is long, drawn out, too much detail and boring. And those movies will get Oscars. But like, I'll watch that movie once in my life and will never go back to it. You know, like I'd never watched The Irishman because I was like, oh, it's way too long. I actually wanted to watch that at some point, but they add so much details, make it 3.5 hours long, and then you lose me. And then I'm like, all right, this is a movie I watch once, and I'm never going to put money towards it ever again.
Yeah, for sure. And this definitely, like, it is rewatchable. I may not watch it as often as I used to, but it is definitely something like that I will say that I will revisit multiple times. 100%.
And I think it was worth talking about because it is one of more of my favorite up there. Like, I don't know, top like 50 favorite slasher films. Like, it's one of those ones that is unique. I think the mask is unique, and you know,
The heart's completely ripped out. This is our guy.
It's you, Aaron. That's you. It's our guy.
Yeah, like my final thoughts that I'd put in was released in the post-Scream slasher era was probably unfortunate for most of these movies. However, Valentine does offer fantastic entertainment. In no way fresh or unique, but will for sure appeal to die-hard lovers of the time-honored formula for these movies, which I think is
slasher film.
who it was made for. Like, I don't really think it was made for fucking anybody else. Like,
I forgot to make this joke. I was like, that's what you call removing the wrinkles. I was talking about the guy with the iron to his face.
Jesus.
Yeah. I know, I'm stale.
Also, actually, before one last little piece on the character in the mask, because I feel like it's really underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the killer's mask apparently was the result of a process we termed maskivation. Jamie Blanks' inspiration was a book on famed painter Sandro Botticelli. He then asked KMB Designs to design a mask based on his cherubs. It almost had a canvas-like texture, which is slightly more visible in the 2019 Scream Factory release. So, like,
cool.
was just looking, but like I thought there was going to be like a shit ton of like creepy images or whatever from that dude, but it's not really. It's just like stuff like that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like some scary stuff, but it's not. It's literally just that's all his images look like.
Huh. I don't know. The mask is pretty unique. I honestly, if I were to choose between this one and the Thanksgiving one, I would choose this one. But I do like the movie Thanksgiving better.
For sure.
But I do enjoy this mask.
Do
cool.
Do you know that?
What?
If they done like some sort of remake or something, if they had Eli Roth like jump on and do this.
Yeah, it's so funny because just looking at the poster cover like that we have in the background of like the mask, that was like, I don't know. So it just reminds me of my childhood of going to like the store, like that's funny. Yeah, that's not real, is it?
That is real.
What? What do you mean? They're actually going to remake
it was like it came out last year. It's a 30-minute VR Valentine slasher movie.
Oh wow!
That Eli Roth made. So
I'll have to try to watch it.
A young woman whose previous boyfriends have all met grisly ends on or around Valentine's Day finally gets the chance to turn the tides on the killer with the help of her hapless college pals. Apparently it's like pretty decent as well, and I would assume it's probably supposed to be some sort of a riff on this movie.
Yeah, 100%. That's pretty cool. I
would like to see it though. Yeah.
Me too. I'd be curious to watch it, even if we do a thing for Patreon where we watch the VR thing together. We should start throwing stuff together like that for your Patreon specifically. Yeah, the cover just makes me think of
it looks
there's some cool
interesting.
art. But the cover just reminds me of my childhood. You know, it's kind of funny. This is definitely a movie I enjoyed.
Like I really think the killer is unique looking and cool looking, and I think that's the key aspect to
a slasher film.
Yeah, you've got to have a cool killer, and if you don't, then you're kind of fucked from the get go, in my opinion.
100%. There is some horrible looking slasher killers out there, but if it's simple, you can't do it over the top either, or it's not going to pan well. Almost like a simple yet creepy mask will draw people in.
I mean, even if you look behind me right now, I mean, there's like a lot of those masks that are like memorable are pretty. They're pretty simple. Like, to be fair.
Yeah, even the ones from The Purge and stuff, simple.
Yeah, they're just like basic masks, but they're like memorable. I'm like, like this guy here from The Purge that had like
the god.
Yeah, everyone remembers that, but it's like when you
Very
look at it up
simple.
close, it's like that is like the most like shitty simple. I feel like a kid could have painted that.
It looks like Hollywood Undead.
Yeah.
Hollywood is never going down, or whatever the fuck.
So we're gonna go with what are we gonna go with across the board 6.9, 69 for Valentine's?
Let's just do that. Yeah, everyone get that in. Eat your chocolates. Get your woman or man. Switch it up, man. There's no gender rules don't exist according to some people. So just get your husband some flowers. See what he thinks. See if he throws them at the wall. We'll see.
And remember that love.
Love hurts.
Where? Hot. What does that say? Hot hurts.
Oh, weird. Why is it supposed to be like that?
No, so the company that made these, they misprinted the first batch, so they sent me a note. They let me keep this one, and then they sent me the proper
wow,
reprint.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Love stinks. Yeah.
So yeah, I hope everyone has a really good Valentine's. Not really.
Yes. I know, dude. You know what? It is a marketing ploy. But if we can get some fun movies like this, whatever. I hope everyone did enjoy this talk, and obviously give us 5-star rating reviews. There's many things that we'll be doing in the future, and I actually want to know what people think and would like to hear us cover.
Yes, I will second all of that stuff. All the links to anywhere we are on social media will be in the description down below, either on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to us. And we'll see you all very, very soon.
Yes. And this one you have to stay horny for horror for,
My pain